Why don't you guys come closer? So for those that don't know me, my name is Gerald Crossman, and I'm the district training chair. I think everyone knows me just about. So we're going to talk about training today in general, and we're going to look up some things. Mike's busy. So the first training everyone does is youth protection. Right. Then we start with, if you've got a position, then you should start with your position specific training. And it's different for depending on like if you're in Cub Scouts or whatever your position is. There's almost all of it can be accessed online now, right? Same place that you do your YPT training. They've got the 30, the 60, and the 90 days they want you to start with the training, and it can take a bit. Or you can sit down one day in your pajamas and just do it all at once. The classroom trainings don't really exist anymore, not very often, as far as there's a lot fewer and farther between for doing those. The goal is for every unit, for every scout to have a training unit. So for Scoutmaster, there's online training stuff, plus you have to take Introduction to Outdoor Leadership Skills, which is an in-person one. So for Cub Master, you can do it all online, and all of the Cub positions, you can do all of your position-specific training online. If you want to take your unit camping, though, you need to take Blue, which is the Basic Adult Leader Outdoor Orientation. It's a big mouth. But we are teaching it. Me and Joan and Ed and Bob are all teaching Blue at the March Cub Scout Super Weekend. So that's required. You should have 2 trained Blue leaders to take your unit camping. So if you haven't taken it, this is a good time to do it. You can camp with your unit and then come and do the training, or they'll give us a campsite if your unit's not going there, and we'll camp in the campsite. So we'll feed you. That's part of the deal. You get to make foil lunches with Bob, which is always fun. And we are doing we'll start Saturday morning right after breakfast, and we'll go until just before lunch or so on Sunday. So we are doing the full training. So those are your basic trainings, right? So then hazardous weather is also required for some of the ScoutsBSA positions, but not all.
I think it's direct contact.
Direct contact leaders. So direct contact. Your Cub Masters, your assistant Cub Masters, then leaders, your Scoutmasters, and your assistant Scoutmasters also need hazardous weather training. That expires every 2 years. The hazardous weather training expires.
Is that new?
No, it's been around for a while.
No, for Cubs? I've never heard of this.
Isn't it?
That's a great question. I think right now it's integrated into if you start as a den leader and like tomorrow, right? So you got to get trained, right? It's part of all the modules that they had in the week.
Right.
But if you did it 3 years ago, it may have expired. I
15.
think that's my understanding. Is that Matt, what you know?
I'm not 100% sure.
It is a part of it is a part of fully trained for some Cub Scout roles.
I know it is for Scoutmasters and assistant Scoutmasters.
It's
So that I did.
Cub Masters and Den Leaders.
I don't remember that. Okay.
So maybe not den leaders. There's a small hiccup that it doesn't expire if you take in the classroom a long time ago, but hopefully you still do it every 2 years. I found the hiccup on Monday. So anyways, but there's lots of other fun trainings also, right? So we've got powder horn, and Butch is going to talk about powder horn for a minute or two.
Sure. So, is there anywhere I have to stand, or are you gonna just?
Wherever.
This is creepy. So Powderhorn is a very unique training opportunity that doesn't happen very often. So if you hear about it, counts on that chance, because the last time, so let's see, in our council, we sponsored a Powderhorn course about 10 or 11 years ago, and it was a huge gap before the next one. So the question is, what is Powderhorn? It is a high adventure training program for youth and adults, age 14 and up. And the way that it's done, as in scouting, is by doing. And so I've been given the opportunity to attend several Powderhorn courses, and things like horseback riding, whitewater rafting, high and low ropes courses, kayaking, canoeing. I actually went kayaking in the Puget Sound. So all of those different things are part of the training, as well as some opportunities to teach people how to put together a high adventure program, how the timelines would look, what kind of things you need to keep in mind in terms of training, safety, communication, all of those things. And so if you get a chance to attend a Powderhorn course, please take advantage of it. I've gone with several of my kids, and they've had a blast. I've had a blast myself as well. And hopefully, if you get to go, you will too.
What's the ages range?
14 and up. Yep.
It's available to your high adventure aged youth also. So that's a fun training then, and you get a cool, medal. Show me your thing.
Oh, yeah.
You're playing.
Your bling.
So this is the Powderhorn emblem. So, yeah.
So it's a fun one that's pretty rare, that does happen. Do you have any idea, are they talking about doing one anytime soon again?
They have someone who has been identified to have a course this August. Things are a little behind, and so I don't know if they're going to end up pushing it to next year, but there are things in the works.
All right.
Yes.
So it is something to look forward to for your youth that are the high adventure age and up, and adults also. We've got climb on safety, which is some basic climbing training. I was hoping one of the people from the climbing committee was going to be here, but they're not today. So, but they teach the climbing trainings at the Merriweather Super Weekends. They've got, so you can sign up. We're doing a lot of adult leader trainings at the Super Weekends. A lot of that's because it makes it easier for the NCAP rules, for the short-term NCAP. To do any overnight training for council, you have to follow the NCAP. And if you do it at the Super Weekend where they're already doing that, then we're all good. And so that's why you'll see most of the overnight trainings at a district event where they're already doing the NCAP, which is the National Camp Accreditation School, where they have a short term for a weekend, or at the Super Weekends. So that's why you see those there, and you don't see them. A long time ago, you used to see, oh, we'll do Baloo at Ireland, just a one-off kind of area, and that's why it doesn't happen, because we're trying to be more proactive and safe with our trainings and everything else. So there's lots of climbing. If you're interested in the climbing stuff, look at the Super Weekends. We do wilderness first aid. I haven't seen one scheduled. I don't know of one that's currently scheduled, but they did them a lot last year.
Christian took that course at University of Scotland. I think there is one this year.
Okay, and I think there is. I just.
UMS is like an intro. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. But she was talking about there was something you don't know. Well, that's the one where oftentimes if Mark and Cindy Hilliard do that a lot. And if you have a group of like half a dozen people that want to do that and you reach out, they'll create a course for your troop, for your crew, whatever. And if you need that contact information, let me know. I think other people in this room probably have that information as well. And information now, you seem like pretty good about that.
I typically was doing my training that was the NOL.
Okay, that's the other one, right?
Yeah, that one's I enjoy that one a lot. It's a really good practical course.
that's normally offered through the REI. If you go to REI, they'll have
Well,
a list
also
of,
through local parks departments, like, and, a lot of, or you can take it directly to the LFC.
There are opportunities, but you can kind of make your own if you have a group. You know, we're gonna go on a high adventure, film on sea base, whatever, and we need to have this, and everyone's on board. You can reach out and find a trainer who can help.
There's, they are doing the mental health first aid at the super weekends, at the both March and April super weekends. And that is a day course. It's a Saturday day course. Pretty sure. Oh,
figure it out.
okay. So this is the first time I've seen that happen, so, or that come up. So that's available. If you're out there, all of the super weekend courses, if you're already if your unit's already camping, there's an option to put camping with unit and then take the training also. Or they all have an area that you can camp and just take the training. The mental health first aid, because it's a day activity, I don't know if that group is camping together because they shouldn't need to, but it might be a day now.
Is that for adults only?
I don't know the answer to her question, but you need to specify youth mental health first aid, because it's also an adult course.
Okay, youth mental
So
health.
youth mental health first aid teaches you how to work with youth versus adult mental health first aid, which teaches you how to work with adults.
And I don't know the answer to your question.
What was the question?
Can youth also take that class?
That's a great question.
Yeah,
That's a dolly question.
I will ask, they email you back, but that's not an answer I know. So the shooting sports committees do lots of trainings and they always have their own registration. I think there's actually getting away from doing them at the super weekends is what someone told me. So that way they can focus on just shooting on the weekends with the youth, letting the youth shoot at the super weekends. And there's different levels. There's lots of different levels of the shooting sports training, from Cub Scouts, archery and BB guns to the NRA rifle and pistol certifications to the range masters, to the range safety officer, which is the one who actually sets up the range and everything else. So the shooting sports has lots of different levels. The archery has its own track that runs through the U.S. Archery. So if you're interested in doing that, we can help out at district events, council events. With some of them, you can do stuff for your units, but those are very specific ones that you have to have the right trainings to do those with your units. So not all of those trainings will give you just go do this with your unit kind of thing. So those are all interesting if you're choosing to. The outdoor ethics training, which is one of my personal favorite, as I teach it all the time. So there's been some new updates to the Leave No Trace courses. They got away from the trainer and the master educator titles, and now is a level 1 instructor is what the trainer was. A level 2 instructor is what the master educator used to be. And they added a level 3 instructor, which is the level 2 instructors. And those are, for BSA, are selected by the national committee. So those are, the level 3 instructors are actually selected by the sponsoring partner for which is BSA for us. So they took away the trainer for the 14 to 18, you'd be 18 now, or 14 to 17, be 18 now. But there's a couple of awards that had the Take the Leave No Trace trainer course, which are the Venturing Ranger Award and the National Outdoor Achievement Award. They changed it to take a 16-hour skill course, which is basically the Leave No Trace trainer course. So just come, we're still off, even though it's level 1 instructor. The youth will get a pin that says Leave No Trace Outdoor Ethics. It won't say instructor, but they'll still get a pin, and they'll still get a set of cards of the Leave No Trace hang tags. And the adults will just get one. The only thing the difference is the pin that otherwise, and the youth won't have to give a presentation if they don't want to when they do the course. So that one we will be teaching at the April and October super weekends. I know IOLS will be taught at the April super weekend at Meriwether, which again is the in-person requirement for Scoutmaster. So if you've got any Scoutmasters that haven't been able to take that, we also teach it at Camporee.
Also assistant scout.
Also assistant Scoutmasters, Scoutmasters and assistant Scoutmasters. The what badge?
So Wood Badge is, after your unit specific or, position specific training. And it covers a lot of different things. It's now a 5-day course. It can be offered in 2 different ways. It can be offered in 2 weekends, 2 long weekends, or 1 solid class that's 5 days long. The really cool thing about Wood Badge is once you leave, you're not done. You have a practical application time frame. You write a ticket about something that you're passionate about, and you use that passion to help you grow, to help your unit grow, and to help solidify the skills that you learned while you were at Wood Badge. Our next one coming up, unfortunately, conflicts with our Camporee, but it's the last weekend in April and the first weekend in May. That being said, not every adult has to go to Camporee with the kids. They might even have more fun. And you could be investing in your unit by training your adults. Do I have any folks here? I don't see beads on you guys. I don't mean to call you out, but I would happily give you a flyer if you were interested.
Actually, who here has been to Wood
Can you sing with the choir? Oh, there's more singing in Wood Badge than Camporee.
Guys, but the breadth of things is huge. Not only do you learn about the scouting program and you get a lot of really good friends. Hi, Mike.
Hi.
But you also get to learn about listening and communicating and project management and outdoor ethics. Oh, there he is. Holy cow. And I need a new set of glasses. You get to, as I said, then apply all of those skills afterwards. So it's a super cool training. You guys will love it if you get to know.
The part that I enjoyed about it the most in a lot of ways is getting to do the scout program as a scout.
That's true.
So instead of approaching it as an adult, you get to approach it as a scout. In fact,
Change your
I'm one of the
perspective.
6 people who's classified as an adult at the event. Mike, where's your
What?
comment on that?
What's my comment?
Me being considered one of the few adults at the event.
I'm an adult.
Counting.
But, like you said, it's gonna be at Butte Creek. It's gonna be a good time. I don't know if you've been to Butte Creek at that time of the year. It's beautiful. And one of the things I always like to promote about Butte Creek is you will have absolutely no cell signal. You will have absolutely no internet access.
And
So
have
if you want to
access
escape your office, you can honestly tell them you have no access and no way to get for your office to go. For a lot of you, that's probably enough to make you come and spend 5 days with us. So.
And the food's excellent, always. Ask anyone you know about Wood Badge brownies.
Yes.
Who's cooking?
Is that Wood Badge brownies, you know?
10 stars.
Yeah.
10 stars.
Right,
5-star scale.
yes.
Okay. So, has anyone actually signed up for any of the new trainings using Black Bugs? Okay. Was it intuitive?
No.
Okay. So,
Black Hog and Intuitive aren't even on the same scale. You can say the same thing about touch. So when you change temporary to Black Hog.
It can't be worse.
so
I agree with you.
I actually have instructions on how to find the trainings. So,
I wouldn't
I'm
have
gonna read
found it
these.
without you.
Okay. So you click on the super week, so you go to sign up. And then you click on you click on the super weekend. And then you register. And there's an update button that's on the bottom left corner of the registration window. And then from there, then there's classes offered and it goes to another drop down window and you pick your class there. So, yes,
So I registered, I'm an outdoor coordinator for our, so I was going to register the scouts to go to Super Weekend that had signed up and shown interest for, and my wife and I to take the ILS. So I figured since there may be less slots for ILS, I'll register my wife first. Got in there, and there was no option to camp with the troop. So when you signed up individually, you just said, you know, you're not covered with troop. So I did it that way, and then I went in and registered the troop, and then with adults on there, you could then choose camp with troop or south. So there's still glitches in there, but it's a learning curve. But I wouldn't have figured it out.
so you can look for the update information button on the registry. That's a good point. So if you're gonna go with your unit, sign everyone up at the unit, and then select the courses afterwards, if you want to camp with your unit. You don't want to camp with your unit and just be the taxi,
That's all
do it the other way. You know, that works too. So if you want a weekend away, you want to do training and a weekend away from the EU. That's always a good thing. That's sometimes fun. Being the taxi is one of the things I really enjoy when I go to away. I go to taxi and then I go find some place to hide. So normally it's with Ed somewhere. We'll go take a look. So. One of Mike, do you have the numbers for me?
Yeah, we'll work on it. I know with position specific overall, we're in the, what was it, 55 and change, 56-ish, we'll give it 56, right?
Okay.
And YPT's nearly 100, so many needs to it's like one person in this needs to renew. If I recall correctly. So what are you looking for there? I'll just state general numbers.
So, yes. So our goal is to have all of the direct contact leaders 100% trained. Really, we would like everyone trained, but we're gonna start with the direct contact. So that's den leaders, cub masters, assistant cub masters in your packs, and assistant scout masters and scout masters with in the troops. I would argue your advancement chair is a direct contact leader also, even though they fall in the committee.
So sorry.
Yeah.
I'd like to take a step back. Where do we go find out the status of the training for all of our direct contacts in our unit? And where do we start to direct them to try and get this organized, right? So.
Yeah, so if you're a key 3 for your unit,
No.
if you go to my scouting, my dot scouting, okay,
Yeah.
and then
And pull the report.
there's a training report there, and you can pull the detailed. It'll at first give you just your overall picture, but then there's a button that will show you everyone's detailed training. And a lot of times, you find people have started it, and there's like 2 or 3 that they're missing. That they just haven't gone back. They ran out of time the day they were doing it, and they have to go back and do it. Sometimes hazardous weather will be expired, and that will stop people from being trained. if you think about hazardous weather, in tandem with your youth protection, as far as they both expire every 2 years.
Sure.
Do one and then do the other one, you know,
I mean, what's neat about youth protection is you get reminded.
You do.
needed to do that.
hazardous weather, I haven't seen a reminder for that ever. Have you, Jeff?
I mean, that's
Okay.
probably why YBT is almost 100%.
Yes, well, it's required to train, to be
Right.
registered.
It's required.
So,
One thing I'll add, if you're looking at one of those training reports for the first time, a thing that can be a little confusing is it does list the classroom class versions of it, and there's some columns. As previously mentioned, the classroom training basically doesn't exist for anything at this point. So,
little.
you know, like you'll see like, it's saying they need to do, I think it's like C40 for Cub Master training or something.
Yep.
And they won't have that, but there'll be another column with all of the online modules.
Yeah.
And so, once you get those will count as fully trained, even though they'll never have earned, according to this report, the C40 or whatever. And
Say that, I'm sorry.
there, it lists classroom training and online training. If you haven't looked at the report before, you might get confused.
Okay.
Don't worry about the classroom training. If they take the online
Oh, then they're
modules,
good.
it will show as a green, yes, it's fully trained.
Okay,
But it's just someplace I've seen people trip up when they first play.
fair enough, okay.
One of the things that's dragging down our train numbers also is we've had all of these, we've had all the parents register so they can go camping, right? It's one of the new requirements, or not so new, but Mike, just say here. You're just gonna read them.
Pause.
Pause.
Well, I also did the analysis, but it was a while back.
Okay.
Keep going, I'll just try to later.
So if a lot of these people have just been put in as committee, PAC committee or troop committee or whatever. If they haven't gone and taken their training, it's dragging our training numbers down. So there is a scout or reserve, a unit scout or reserve position. And if they do that, the only training that they have to take is the YPT training.
And then they're fully trained.
And then they're fully trained. So if you've got parents that aren't a direct contact, and they're not an active part of your committee, but they go camping, which is great for them to still be there, so do that. Move them to the scout or reserve. That will help your training numbers go.
Who can do that in your troop pack crew ship?
The district, or the chair.
No.
Who? The-
You are your charter or?
Well,
Representative.
Okay,
Charter organization representative only.
Not-
They're in charge, yes. They're in charge.
Yeah.
Literally the keys to the kingdom. Can I do
yes,
this?
yeah.
Okay, so in our entire district, we have a lot of people, 55.74 are trained percent, 44.2%. I split Jeff in quarters. 55.74% are trained, right? So that means that 44.26% are not trained, and I sent emails to over 1,000 people, right? So this means there are hundreds of people that are not trained for the position they're registered in. And I did the analysis about 6 or 7 months ago when we first looked at this, and Virginia was just hot to trot on this. It was like, this is a big deal. We need to get our direct reports, direct contact first. Hundreds, like 100, I know it's 200 committee members across all unit types. No training. YPT, nothing else. And that speaks to your point, right?
Yeah.
People, it's just like the default. Put them in this committee. What could go wrong? Sure, I get it. We want them registered, then we have the background check and all that. Unit scout or reserve is the right answer. Beyond that, we have a bunch of assistant scoutmasters and scoutmasters that are either missing. Marty, what are you taking? IOS. That's one. IOS is the outdoor portion, right?
Yes.
There's another one that like the other half of scoutmasters and assistants were missing. That is
All done.
the online. It's called S24, which you just finished, right? Okay, see, look at this, Marty's all over it. And then the weird thing that like 100 assistant scoutmasters or scoutmasters were missing, hazardous weather training.
Yeah,
It's bizarre. It's like a pitfall that everyone falls into.
I didn't even, be honest with you, I didn't even know. I didn't even know I needed it. I
right?
took my den leader training when I
Yeah.
became a den leader. I went through all that online. When I became a Cub Master, I went through the Cub Master training.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't even know there was this thing called college.
So now that you know, go check it out, and you can point people to where to get to it, there's that drop-down menu on My Scouting. My training, and it should take you right to what you need, you individually, and what you are registered for, right?
Yes.
I find that to be easiest. Okay, back to Daryl, thank you. Now, do you have any other numbers to share? No. YPT, I got YPT. Okay. I can't divide it by like role or anything on this, it's really funky. So 1.49% of our volunteers are expired YPT. That's a problem. Jessie doesn't like that. She gets sad. Very sad. We don't want sad Jessie. We want happy Jessie. So in this is easy. If you're a committee chair, Scoutmaster, Cub Master, whatever, charter org rep, get in there and see whose YPT happened to have expired and just poke them. Dude, go get your YPT done.
And make sure they realize that they are not effectively a leader
Then, yeah,
in terms
they
of
need to-
being with you. They don't count in any way at that moment.
Nothing to sign off from.
Joe.
Well,
Just make it hard.
Pull those dates out of the report and put it on the Canva sign up, so everybody can see when everybody's YPT expires.
That's awesome. Because we all want to know that, yes, we are all trained, we're all up to date when we go out and we are interacting with our youth. That's important. I don't know if I have any more like numbers for you.
Can I give you the cheat code? Everybody likes cheat codes. What is the cool thing about being a key 3? You can make a key 3 designate. Delegate, thank you. That was one of those words. Trying to steal my thunder. Because being one of the key 3, it can be difficult to keep track of everything. But if you have somebody that likes to keep track of training, you can make them a key 3 delegate. And then they can be the one that comes to every committee meeting with the training report status of who's 30, 60, 90, 6 months out.
How do you do that?
you don't even have to delegate. There's actually an official functional position.
Is there one
for
now?
training
That's the other one,
manager that gives them access to the training reports. They don't even have to be a
So
delegate.
there's multiple answers here. Your answer is what, fine. And when you're a P3 delegate, you can see all the training info, all the membership info, you can go in and update the pin, like Josh wants to go update your pin on Be a Scout, right? That allows you to do that. It also allows you to run all the training reports, and all the other stuff. What it does not allow you to do is move, Marty from committee member to assistant scoutmaster. That doesn't work. That's, again, charter org rep only. Or even an extra bonus, if you're a charter org rep and you're lazy and you can't run a computer, there's a charter org rep delegate. Only COR can sign that, and there's only one possible. That's a whole different ball of wax. So, to answer Joe's question, your question was,
How do you do it?
how do you do it? Under My.Scotty, there's a drop down, and there's a drop down under the drop down. I know I hate it. And it's like, you gotta select your unit. And then once you select your unit, you should have, based on who you are, if you're a key 3 or if you're a scoutmaster, you should have a couple tools. One of them should be training manager. You go into training manager, what you'll see is what's kind of on my phone right now, except for on the district-wide thing. It'll look like this. It'll have 2 pie charts, hopefully. And then right below that, it'll have report. And the left side one is position-specific training. You hit report, it'll go in and crank out a CSV for you. Comma separated on the other.
Very
Comma
separated value.
Yeah, spreadsheet.
Yeah,
right. And one of those columns is, when does each of these expire? And you can sort by that. And you can sort by that right on the screen. Okay, top to bottom, who is expired, who's expiring soon?
Our question was, how do you get a designated?
Oh, I'm sorry, I totally lost it right through.
Yes.
Okay,
No, that's okay, this was also helpful.
okay, cool. So that's how you get the report. You can save it, you can export it to Excel and do pivot tables if you want, whatever makes you happy. So if you need to create let's go with a Q3 delegate, right? You know how to do this? I'm not a Q3. Okay, so one of the other tools within your unit, when you drop down and select your unit within the drop down, is going to be the organization manager. Let me check to make sure I'm saying this right. Drop down, is that right? Okay, I'm gonna go to my true, because I'm a key delegate weirdly. And what you're looking at is, thank you, organization manager. On the phone, it looks different, but basically there's a menu that says, okay, what do you want to do?
and you're looking at position manager. So with an organization manager, which includes the pin that Josh cares about, and we should all care about, right? The pin manager, there's what did I say, Josh? I said position manager. And there are two tabs. They don't really look like tabs, but they're functionally tabs. The one that it'll default you to is registered positions. And that's where if I'm a COR for my troop and I want Marty to stop being a committee member and start being a scoutmaster, I can literally drag and drop him if I'm the COR for the delegate. The other tab is functional roles. If I decide I want Marty to be my membership inquiry person, let's see, we got advancement chair, we got training chair, we got treasurer, and we got unit protection champion. And that is not tied to the registered position. You could have a committee member be, I think, any of those, I think. You were, I think so.
They're an auxiliary position you can assign.
It's
So
a
a person
second,
can carry
it's
two.
second axis, right? And all you just assign somebody to each of those. And some of them, I think you can assign multiple people. Like the registration inquiry, you can add 2 or 3.
Those are the people that get emails whenever there's
Yes.
someone puts in a lead, in
Somebody
addition
gets
to the
the
key three. So if the key three have somebody who can deal with it so that they get fast responses, that's where you add somebody without there having to be a committee member or anything else.
Is that helpful at all? Okay, I think so.
So we're really deep diving.
A little bit,
into
yeah.
this. Can the unit commissioner dig in equally deep, but not control
Hey,
anything?
Ed, you wanna look it up and see if you can dig into a unit real quick?
I just figured got my password.
That's important.
So I'm in the committee member right now in a troop. I'm a committee member. I can see the training report. I can see the green or red train and what courses they've, met on everyone that's in there. I can also pull a YPT report. So just as a committee member, I can see all that information.
Okay, right.
So I can pull those 2 reports. I can't change anything, but I can pull those 2 reports as a committee member.
I'm gonna go look at yours.
Are you sure you don't have
That's
one?
interesting.
Does anybody give me?
Not in this group. that
So,
I'm in.
so for some of them, everybody who's registered should be able to see, I think, the roster, if I remember right, and probably training. I think those 2 are common to pretty much anybody who has like a position, I think.
Yeah, so
Is
so,
that right?
so that's the thing. I'm seeing the training
Yeah.
and I'm seeing the YPT also. I can also pull a YPT. report.
And if you're key 3, you're gonna have a list of like 6 or 7 different tools that some of them are useful, some of them are, why are they here?
Yeah, I've got.
There was a question.
I think
I'm really sorry, I'm hijacking. No. Okay, hopefully that's helpful. I'm gonna like sit down and let Daryl carry on.
I will just say in general, my dot scouting is not the best of tools, not the worst of tools.
And the app's even better.
If people, yeah, I've unfortunately learned more than I've wanted to over the last couple of years about it. And I'm available for people that are stressed, or if there's other members of your committee who are stressed about it, they can reach out to me.
I realized I didn't answer Gordon's question. My understanding is unit commissioner probably doesn't have access to all of the tools, but probably some of them. I'm not sure which. And the unit commissioner cannot change, I don't think, functional assignments or registered assignments.
Right, yeah.
What they really should be doing is doing reports when they visit a unit and putting those unit visit reports in, right, Gordon?
Have some habits.
Your district commissioner can also assign a key 3 delegate, not assign a COR delegate. If your COR gets run over by a bus, I'm sorry, you gotta get that fixed. And that is one thing that I have found is like the bottleneck to things like charter renewal sometimes, or getting an adult application approved. Be aware of that. That is a thing. COR is the one human that can approve a new adult leader. So carry on. Thank you.
So I'm just about done. Does anyone have any questions about trainings that BSA offers?
So I was wondering for the swimming certification, we had a leader that did it at Meriwether 2 years ago, but I haven't seen that offered. Is it really only offered through Meriwether at summer camp, or, you know, to be able to take you out on like, you know, canoeing?
Like the safety afloat?
But yeah, the
And-
full certified training, right? Not just the online training.
No, we did a Pioneer.
Did they do a Pioneer? Okay, good.
So, yeah, so there is an online portion, and that should be the safety afloat one. But then there's in-person ones too. And a lot of times a lot of times that you'll do that at summer camp, it'll actually show up on training reports too. So
How do we get that card put into our system?
you,
Picture and send it to Daryl.
yeah, that works.
Okay, seriously.
Or you take a picture of it and send it to Carrie Hutchcraft can do it too.
You don't want pictures of them?
Well, I said in either or, you can send it to me.
That's probably a hole we should look at though, because the camps report out merit badges.
They're supposed to.
And they should, there should be a way to get the adult training back down.
All of those reports are supposed to go to the council office and get entered. It sometimes happens. Sometimes it happens. And they
Have
might
anyone here had their order at McDonald's messed up ever? Right?
Today?
Get my fries? Right, so remember, those are the same people who are teaching at summer camp. So a lot of times it is, right? These are the same youth, right? So sometimes they're learning, right? This is a learning opportunity for them to make these commitments, make these connections. It's tough, right? Some of them just maybe their literally first job. And honestly, it could be something as simple as the handwriting on your name was
Did not-
illegible.
Yes.
And they couldn't figure out if it was Joe Smith, John Smith, Joseph Smith, right?
Or it rained and the paper got wet.
Yeah, I mean, all these things happen. Yeah. We got a stack of merit badge sheets back, and it all rained out, like 6 of them just. Throwing it into the water for the bad.
Okay, so I haven't seen the national camp schools are I've seen, but that's normally waterfront directors. And you have to be a staff. I haven't seen very many water trainings ever, really. There are a lot of these trainings that are rare that you have to search for and travel to go to. So like, when we were talking about powder horn, that's not one that gets taught a lot. So if you wanted to do it in a specific year, it might not be offered in your council. You might actually have to travel out of council to go take powder horn. They're doing it more frequently now than they have for quite a while. But so there's
Like Seattle, there's other, like Southern Oregon, you just. Bend, right?
Powderhorn is done regionally. So like when it was offered in our council, it was last year, 2 years ago.
So was that the only one in our region area?
But it was the whole region, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was Alaska, Oregon, well, I don't know how big it is.
W1.
Yeah.
It was,
Well,
well,
the
it
whole thing.
was
It
paired
was
up
the
with
one
Seattle.
offered for that
Joe,
region.
they did do a thing up in Seattle and then they came down here, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was
two-part
Chief
thing?
Seattle and Cascade Pacific shared it, so they did the first weekend in Seattle and the
Yeah.
second weekend.
So there's tons of people up and down the west side, right?
So our council was pretty good about doing wood badge every year, but there was a year last year that they didn't do it because of JAMO. And so the wood badge that was taught last year was in Pacific Harbors, was the closest one. Was a big one. There's other councils.
I think that's Oregon Trail had one too, if I remember.
Oregon Trail, yeah.
I think so.
So there are trainings that are rare, like, so there's some of the swimming ones.
Yeah.
You'll have to Google them and find them.
It's tricky because it was like a week of summer camp, so it's odd for every 2 years.
The level 2 leave no trace instructor training, I had to go to Arizona to go do it. A lot of the trainings are these kind of instructor trainings are taught at the national level, and a lot of them are taught at the high adventure bases like Summit and Sea Base teaches them. Philmont's got the Philmont Training Center, so they're always running courses all summer long. So and then I almost forgot about youth training, right? So we talked all about adult training, but I almost forgot about youth training. So for training, for youth training, we've got den leader training, which actually is an online module now, right? Den chief training, den chief training for the ScoutsBSA going down to help out with Cub Scouts. We've got
ILST,
ILST, which is
Introduction to Leadership, Scout.
Skills training.
Skill training. Thank you, I always get them.
so, and look, that's a requirement, that's supposed to be a requirement to go to NYLT, which is the National Youth Leadership Training.
Which we got like 3 weeks of this summer.
We do, there's one in June, one in July, and one in August.
And we just did it for a troop ILST. They pull it off the webpage, I printed pages and put it in the binder. If you're digital, you can do it on your laptop. It's 3 90-minute modules. They tell you what, say this, read the line, play games with your troop. They're great. I thought the youth really enjoyed it.
But it's best when the youth present that for their youth.
Right, we had a long gap. Maybe somebody heard of that code thing. We didn't do a lot of ILST then, but we went, hey, we haven't done ILST in a while. And only the oldest 1 or 2 in our troop had even remembered being in it, and they remembered being in it pre-code.
And
So-
also, even though it said 3 90-minute modules, you lied about how long it took to get done.
Right, but the kids weren't complaining, because you fed them a good meal, and they played lots of games. It's got a lot of games. It's, anybody that can read can probably try to teach ILST and is willing and interested to talk with you.
The other programs have a version of it too. I don't know if that, I assume Venturing does. Sea Scout has one as well.
Yes.
Venturing
and
is
CSAC.
actually, includes a second training to go with it that is project management.
Okay.
And the project management section of it, at least read the last time I did this,
Pre-code.
is a several hour training all unto itself.
Yeah.
But it's on the same website, Station National. Hey, it says here's your troop, here's ILST. Here's the one.
ILSS is the
Yeah,
shipment, and
ILSS.
the youth have to they have to teach it in order to rank up in the Sea Scout. So they're required to teach it. So they all really want to get it done.
Well, the best part too is all this is age appropriate, right? And I was talking about the free stuff. It's that I'm sure that project management is
14
age
to
level
21.
appropriate for
I
this.
actually brought in a guy who had just finished his master's degree in project management to make certain that the youth told me, I said, I think I can do it, guys, but here's a better option, and they were like, no, we want the better option.
Find somebody else who you to do police things.
So and then if you really want to go beyond NYLT, there's NAIL, which is taught at the national bases. And NAIL
Stands for.
National, I don't remember.
Advanced Youth Leadership. I think that's it. I'm pulling it.
I think it might be that.
But isn't there an EL?
NAYLE.
Seminar, leadership
What is
seminar. I missed like the whole
National
first
Advanced
part of that.
Experience.
Thank
Yes.
you. Oh.
Shall I do-
It's the final Jeopardy question.
shall I do that?
No, we
No,
can.
we get it.
Yay.
Start picking. In the corner.
There's also the OA or the Arrow has a training that there's actually coming up in April. That is NLS, National Leadership Seminar. So
Yeah.
the Order of the Arrow actually have a training that cycles through that's coming up too.
Yeah, there's one version for the kids and one version for the adults. My son took the kids version last year, and this is the kid who, this year's gonna be a long year. He's gonna be 18 in his senior. It's gonna be a long year. He does not like school now. He came back and was quoting things out of it and said that he was really happy that he did it. He thought it was great training and it had a huge effect on him. The adult training that I took, I've done a lot of corporate training. It was intense. I mean, it was intense. It was, yeah, you could call it a weekend. It was like sleep, get up, get your breakfast, sit down at the table and start. But I learned a tremendous amount. It's worth every single penny of those trainings.
Which class is that?
NLS.
Okay, sorry. Oh, no.
And And this, I think it's gonna be it's up in
Tacoma.
Tacoma.
Yeah.
And I think this will be the last rotation that it's nearby for a couple of years. So, and for the Oreo of the Arrow kids, I believe that the lodge is paying a portion of it.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's really, and then if you're willing to drive with an entire van full of children. Dr. Dick Phillips, he may make you a deal. Because, I don't know, is Butch still in here? Butch and I drove two minivans over to the one in Idaho last year, and we had a blast. If you've ever had an entire minivan full of scouts for a drive to Idaho, 8 hours, it was fun. And I'm not kidding, it was a blast. I had it.
I went to them 6.
So. Yeah, you can remember.
So there's lots of training options. I hope you I hope you really do the required ones and then encourage others to do it. And then do some of the fun ones, do some of the extras. I personally really enjoy the outdoor ethics and lead no trace ones. That's why I teach them. And so if there's any of these trainings that you like and you really want to do more, let me know if you want to help teach. I'm always looking for trainers. And think about if there's anything that you get really passionate about, take it to the next level and do the national trainings. You're probably gonna have to travel, but I've found it a lot of fun. So.
We take a break and see, is there any questions online or any comments?
Nobody's posted anything yet.
I can chime in online, folks. There's like 8 or 9 people online, right?
Yeah, there was 8, we're down to 6, but.
Oh,
Well, and Daryl, I you didn't touch on it, but there's a fishing program now too, right?
Right, the certified angler program that they're,
Like 3 levels of training on that one? 2 or 3?
is it 3 or is it just 1?
Well, there's a national level training one too,
Okay,
and then train the trainer one too.
so, and a lot of these training programs have different levels. They've got take the training and then take the training to be the trainer level. So that's that. You really enjoy it and you want to teach others.
Forgot about the one that you want to take.
Oh, Sea Badge. So they're also, the Sea Scouts also have a level of training that's similar to Wood Badge, but not.
It is different,
It is
but
different.
there is an option, you don't have to join Sea Scouts, the Sea Scouts, there are 2 options to create your ticket. You can do one as a land scout, as a ScoutsBSA scout, or you can do it as a Sea Scout, and right now, they're running a bunch of them online, and I took mine online, it was about $25. So, not a bad deal, it's a long weekend of classes. We're hoping to have one, actually in the Northwest, a live one early next year. But you can do this version of it, and if you want to learn more about that program.
What was the name of that?
Sea Badge,
Sea Badge.
Yeah. And you get a really cool knot if you finish it. That has
The
credit.
pin now, not the knot.
Well, okay, you can get both.
You probably still get the knot.
The knots,
Get a knot from
the knots were tight. The pin is what you actually
Yes,
get.
you get a really cute pin, it's a really cool
So
pin.
if you earned a knot, this is a particular,
Yeah.
if you earned a knot, if you were I'm gonna stand for this, this is important. So if you run into somebody, anybody have one of the old like, tiger den leader orange knots? You've seen these, right? Every once in a while. You can still wear that. You earned it. It was okay to be on your uniform. It's always, where?
Janelle?
Oh, Janelle's got, oh, yeah, the yellow one. That's a
These
Cub
are-
Master
this-
knot, right?
No, this,
Cub
it's
leader?
supposed to be a weeblo and a
Yeah.
bear, I think.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
So it was the older den leader knots. You'll still see those around. If you go to the University of Scouting and find somebody with gray hair and a long beard, and he's got like knots.
Like on a plaque.
Exactly, right? And they're plasticized, no. Those are still around. You can wear those if you earn them. There's nothing wrong with that. So Heather wearing Trident is perfectly acceptable because she earned it. So there it is.
Yeah, they give out a pin now, they used to give out a knot, now they give out the pin, but it's still the right award.
It's my picadillo. I've been bragging on it for like 9 years, but it's a thing.
And Neil have a whole staff.
Okay, does anyone else have any other questions about training?
lots of it.
Take lots of it. I actually really enjoy training personally. I always like to learn. And there's always an opportunity to share that training with the youth that we're here for. So with that, that's the night. Oh, Gordon?
BSA training is deep and wide and high quality. And because lots of it is online, it's all the more accessible to us who are in the campsites or in the trenches, so to speak. It is a blessing for us to take advantage of this deep and wide training to equip us to be better deliverers of scouting experiences, as well as improve our own scouting skills. We do this for the people we are serving. Thank you very much for.
Thanks, Daryl. Yes.
With that, you're free to visit or go home, whichever one you choose.
Get your stuff from Jess or to find out where you're scouting. Camp,
Thank you, everybody.